Hey guys, welcome back. It's Dot. Well, I'm still in my creative test world, and I wanted to show you my version of a railway station. I don't know if you can see this sign. I hate the lighting. This is a railway station that I came up with that has an 11 block by 15 block above ground footprint. So basically what that means is that at ground level, the exposed stuff can fit into a rectangle that is 11 by 15. The underground actually takes up more room than that. But underground you can hide an awful lot. Well, this system here, this is the bare bones version, and you can see over here in the distance I have a more cleaned up version that I'll show you later. This is a version that has the ability to have both incoming and outgoing traffic on both of these tracks. And on both this test one and this test one, they go to different destinations. This one goes off into this bog and swampy area, and this one over here kind of goes off and goes underground and investigates a cave that I came across. So we'll take a look at those in a little while too. But if we come inside our door here, you'll see this is the main area where your users or customers would come in. So let's start over here. If they come in or they leave, okay, they have to come through this. Okay, so let's start here. If they come in, they're going to hit. They're coming in at a fair clip, and they're going to hit this unpowered rail, and this is going to help slow them down so that they don't overshoot this. We want them to end up right in here. Okay, so that when they get out, they come up and they hit these pressure plates just walking out. Okay, now that's going to do two things. Activate this, and then if you look down here, see how it curves around? Okay, we need this to allow the cart to continue that way, because that's how it's going to head on down to the Pez. So if I press on these pressure plates, you'll notice this will activate and that elbow will switch. You see that? So that would be enough to pop the cart going, hop over the track, and continue on down. Okay? Okay, the same thing, the same thing is happening over here. So you could be coming in, again, it'll slow you down, stop you right on the grade, push, come out, push these pressure plates. It reorders this so that it can continue to go down. So this time I'm going to back off so you can see that this will switch. Do you see that? Okay. So that's incoming. Arrivals, if you will. Alright. So now if we come up here, you'll actually come to this little area, and this is where you can get ready to roll. So over here it says press for a cart that goes to the cave, and if I push this button, it'll summon a cart that'll actually come off of this track. And this is a neat trick. It's another drop. So this cart is going to come flying off of here, fall down, reorient, and be angled heading down this way so that we can scoot out. Okay? Push this button, meaning I want to go that way, to the swamp. A cart's going to come down here, reorient, and be sitting right here. Okay? So once the cart is here, you right click to get into it, doesn't matter which one, and you push this button when you're ready to leave. Okay? Now this is interesting. When you push this button, it's got to turn this on, right? So that no matter which angle you're on, the angle tells the cart which direction to go. Alright, that's the easy part. But do you remember this over here? This isn't powered. So we need this and this to be powered. But then I ran into a problem because it powered them both at the same time. So this was great. It got us moving, But by the time my cart got to about here, this turned off, which meant I got right there, and then it stopped. So that's what these repeaters, and I don't know if you can see that, but there are two of them, two full-length repeaters. So watch this. When I come up here, I'm going to push this button. This will light up. Then I'm going to look over here, and in a little bit of time, that one's going to light up. Ready? On, on. Do you see that? That little bit of a delay is enough so that when that cart gets over here, that turns on and it scoots me off. Okay? It also, at the same time, does this one. Do you see that? So now watch. See? Both of them turn on at the same time. You see? So again, it doesn't matter which one you're going out. It powers you out. Okay? Alright, so before we push the other buttons, let's take a look at what's hiding under here. This was my underground stuff. So here, these pillars are the back wall. Okay? And this block is important, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this is what's going on inside. And maybe it would be easier if I just walked you through this way. Okay? Alright, so you can come in two ways. You can come down this track or down this track. But watch what happens. If I come in from over there, which is the cave, I come off, I step on that pressure plate, it scoots the minecart down this track, down the hill, speeds up a little bit, hops up, and hiding in here is a Pez. I put this piece in. This piece here is required. I put these in to help keep them ordered and help so that we don't screw things up. Okay, so it basically just returns the cart to the Pez. Okay, now on the other hand, what if we came in from over here, the swamp? So what I did there is, watch, I came in above ground, swung around, and do you see these powered rails? It speeds it up, and remember I said this block is important. It's going to speed this thing up so much that it jumps, hits this, and falls straight down. And just like we saw out here in the departure zone, it'll reorient at the top of this ramp, slide down, and pop in to the Pez. You see that? Alright, so now let's come back down. Okay, this is the same Pez that you saw in Necromars. So now let's come over here. So now we've got this Pez. Ooh, and I'm noticing we don't have any carts in this version. So let's load in some carts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should put 5 in. Okay, that's good. Alright, so when we're up there and we push those buttons, one of two things is going to happen. It's going to push a button that will not affect this piece of rail right here. So in that case, the way it's oriented is that this piston will fire, and then one of these carts will shoot, jump the track, and head on out to the left side. You see that? However, if I push the other button, which is right here, it's going to come along here. This is just a repeater. This isn't a delay, just so that we can extend it. It's going to come along here. It's going to switch the track so it's actually bending this way, and then head on out and hit the piston again. And then that time, the cart's going to swing around, come down that track, and then head on up. You see that? Okay. There really isn't a lot of hard redstone going on here. I mean, really, it's all fairly straightforward. Okay. I think in my version, at least in this version of it, the only snag was up top when I had to put those repeaters. Excuse me, those repeaters in for this guy. So that was really the only one. Okay, so let's see. We've got the swamp and we've got the cave. Let's try the swamp first. So I'm going to push the button on the swamp. Remember, that should bring a cart right here. You see that? Hop in the cart, come up here. Now, before I hit this, here's another problem I came up with. even in Necromars, when the Pez dispenser is above ground, it's sitting back there. And you got to come over here and you got to right click on something over here. Well, I was discovering, notice it highlights the button with that little black box? Sometimes it wouldn't highlight with the box. And then when you right clicked, it actually was like going through the block and doing the same thing, like right clicking on the cart that was sitting in the Pez. So now you were sitting inside of a cart underneath a couple other carts. I mean, talk about annoying. I even did versions where I put, extra blocks in between, and it still was a problem. So that was one reason I decided to drop it down underground. Okay? Alright, let's see. We're going to have a little nighttime stroll here. Nighttime stroll through the swamp. Okay, and you can see here that those powered rails were hidden. You see that? Whereas these, you can see the torches. Okay. Kind of a pretty ride here through our swamp. And this is why you want to find yourself a underground mine. Hey, does this look familiar? We were right there. Hello, Mr. Skeleton. Alright, let's head back and hope that one of the bad guys doesn't hit us. They don't attack you in creative, but if they happen to be standing on a track, like that guy is almost about to do. No, no. Oh, talk about lucky. They'll actually stop you dead, and then you got big problems. And I need to get rid of the knight. So now watch, we're going to come in the same way we came out. Please don't jump on me. Boom. Good. Oh, look at this guy. He's in the trenches. Okay, so you see that? Came down, and now I'm going to get out so that he doesn't screw me up here. And watch. Oh, did it go out that way? Oh, look at that. Ha! Well, Mr. Zombie's going because he screwed it up. You put walls around it and you don't get all that weirdness going on. But let's take a jaunt. Let's take a jaunt to our bed and get rid of the bad guys. Okay. Alright, our bad guys are going to burn up. And then we can continue. So let's just give them a second to burn up. I should probably turn this on peaceful when I'm playing in this mode, just to get rid of some silliness. Okay, this time let's check it out with the cave. So that should mean a cart comes right here. You see that? Okay. Alright, let's see where this guy's going to go. So this idea goes underground. I figured that would be a way to get rid of the monsters. And when I say monsters, I also mean the day mobs, because they can also screw you up too. And this just goes down a little chasm. I was having fun here with all the redstone work. I didn't want to just make a silly little loop that went virtually nowhere. What I find funny is it kind of brings us right back to places we were. Okay, now in this instance we're actually working over here. You can just see the pillars there, but we looked at this earlier. Okay, and we'll head back. Sorry, spider. Ooh. It's like a little roller coaster. Whee. And up. And down. And hopefully nobody will get in our way. So far, so good. Oh, very good. And you see that? Now this time, hopefully. Yeah, see? That one went back to the Pez. Okay. Somewhere down there is a zombie in a cart. You may need to adjust whether or not you need this track. It's really going to depend on how fast you come in here. Like I said, on both of these runs, I was coming in pretty fast. On another one I'll show you in a little while, I wasn't coming in fast, so I was actually able to get rid of this one. So really, the only two that are really important are these two. If you find yourself overshooting, because remember, you want to be angled in, okay, not angled up. Okay, if you find yourself angling up, add one more piece of unpowered track, and that'll act as a brake to slow you down. Okay, all right, so that is basically the whole idea. Before we take a look at a cleaned up version, let's come over here for a minute. I needed to toy around with an idea. It actually came into play over with this guy. I don't like to see redstone above ground. And the way I had originally coded it, there were places where I was turning this, going this way. So like when I hit that button, notice now it's going off that way. The redstone was coming off here, and that meant I couldn't fill it in with dirt. Okay, so I needed a way that I could fill it in with dirt. I also had the problem with this one too, because it came off this way, and this is where I had come up with the idea of putting the torch in the back. You see, there it is. Okay, you don't see it. You see that? You don't see it when you're in the actual station. And there's even blocks here so that you don't even see this one. Okay, so this was an example of how to make it so that you could fill in. So I could fill in this whole gap all the way up to here. All right, the only hole would be back here, but that's heading in the back, and you didn't need to worry about it. And then you can see it allowed it to work. See that? Okay, then I came up with another idea, or another problem. The way this is oriented, this track is heading out this way. Okay, this would be perfect if this track was your incoming track, because when you get out you want to scoot off, right? Which means you want it oriented this way. But what if you were coming in this way? Okay, this wouldn't work. So I needed to come up with a way of making it so that the default was angled the other way. See, this one is going off this way, which was over here. This one is going off this way. And the difference is right here. You see this? I went down another block and I added in another redstone torch. Look, it's not over here. You see that? This is just redstone going straight over. I dipped because that's how you communicate with that redstone torch. Okay, so if you fill in that dip and just bring the redstone on this level all the way over, you won't communicate correctly with that torch. So what I decided to do, and I believe they call this an inverter. Did you notice that this chunk of redstone is active, but if I hit the button, it deactivates that chunk and activates this chunk, and that's enough to make the switch. You see that? Okay, so now let's come over to this structure. This structure is a cleaned up version of this. Okay, this is what the building might look like. Notice this says this is the maintenance entrance. In other words, this is the back of the station. You see this? This is where all the mechanicals go. Okay, to get down there, you just walk down the Pez steps. Alright, and the layout down here is identical to what we saw in the other one. Okay, notice here these holes only have to be 1 high because we are not in the cart. Okay? That also helps to ensure that you don't mistakenly go down there as well. I added this little lip not only as a sidewalk, but you notice we can actually see a little more through the windows. You see that? Alright, so now if we come in to the actual front, which is right here, okay, there's one railway, there's another railway to this train station. And here we go. I added in some gates just to make it look pretty. I added in pressure plates on top of wood, so it actually almost blends right in. But here it is. All the functionals are the same. You see that? And then I just played around with a roof design. Okay? So let's see. We have got the super cave or the Gur house. I think we'll do the super cave. We'll just do one this time. The Gur house actually goes up inside of that Gur. And we'll see what happens here. You see that? So now this time we find another cave. And this one's kind of wild. Heads through the swamp where we were on the other one. And now we go underground a bit until we find the cave. And if we listen carefully, we might even hear a monster. Yeah. And this takes us into a little ravine where we get to toy around a little bit. Until it brings us around to the end. Okay? And we'll take a return trip back. These ravines are kind of cool too. I was trying to keep it dark there so that we would have the possibility of hearing some monsters, and it actually worked out pretty good. Now look, we're coming in the same way we came out. You see, we did not come out over there, we came out over here. See, have fun, my friend. Step out, and there it goes, back to the Pez. Okay. Alright, so that is another version of the railway station. Now, the original version of this cleaned up version I built out of brick. All down here where you see this was brick, and then the roof was made out of sandstone with a kind of a castle looking piece. Then I replaced it with this, which is something I've used in some of my other houses. It looked better, but I don't know. I still thought I could do better. So I'm going to pause here for a second while I try to locate my last version. Okay, guys, I'm back. This is my last version. It's almost the exact same setup internally. Again, I cleaned this one up a little bit. I was toying around with this one to see what would happen if I wanted to make it elevated a bit. And I discovered that that wasn't really a brilliant idea because some of it went out this way, you see. Alright, so coming in this way, it says again, you've hit the maintenance side of things. So we need to come around, which is fine. See, same setup. This time I decided to build the actual structure out of sandstone and the roof out of stone. And this one is just a loop. And it's kind of like a scenic marshy river area. I've got a little nature walk that heads down both ways, as well as this loop. I was trying on this one, I was toying around with the idea of getting it so that the actual car didn't travel super fast. See here, I used metal gating this time instead of the wood. Other than that, though, it's almost the same. There is a programmability problem that I'll show you in a bit that I ran into this way. Okay, so this is a loop. You can go either way. It's the same trip. So we'll just go this way. And it loops you around. And you get to look at all the critters and the water and on the land as you continue around the loop. Puppies, you're making so much noise. And then again, we come in the other side. So you see, that was a much slower trip. And you'll notice this is an example where I did not need an extra piece over here. Okay? Now, like I said a second ago, this was identical to the other two that we saw. However, I found a problem. Do you notice that this curve is perfect, right? Okay? And then we step on those pressure plates and it flicks the curve this way so that the cart can head on down to the Pez. However, when I wired it in the same way I did the others, I ran into a problem. This was reversed. Okay? And I believe it has something to do with that southwest rule. This building is facing a different direction than the other building was. So I actually had to come over and do a little bit of extra work here. And I did this on both sides. Let me just get down here so we can see what's going on. There we go. Okay, so over there are the pressure plates. So it's just regular redstone that comes along here. We've done that piece before. Okay, hops in. This is where the power track is. So those pressure plates power the track. It's over here where, do you notice, this is on. See that? Whereas the other one was off. And there was another torch right here. You see that? Okay, so it had to reverse a little bit. Notice I had to come down a block instead of being up on this level so that it could actually wire properly. So when I push on those pressure plates, this redstone activates, and because this is down a block, when this redstone comes in, it turns this off, and that little curve track can go the correct direction. Okay, so it's going to depend on how you put this thing together. Now this is kind of cool. This back here is a different piece of circuit. This is that outgoing circuit. So these repeaters for that circuit were serving the purpose of slowing it down so that those tracks over there turned on after the tracks over here. However, the placement of these is perfect because another thing that repeaters do is ensure that redstone only runs in one direction. So it's actually coming this way and going that way. It can never come this way, and this torch, which is part of a totally different circuit, isn't going to come in and screw up that circuit. Okay, so basically it stops right here. Okay, so that can be one circuit and that can be another circuit. Okay, and that, my friends, is my version of a railway station. Okay, I hear, and I don't know where he went, I hear an Enderman. There he is. I gotta go say hi to the Enderman. Hello, Enderman. How are you? Yeah, thank you for picking up your dirt. Now go away. Go away. Don't put your dirt down. Come on. Come on. You're too tall to come in. You can't use it. No. No, I gotta put signs up. No Endermen allowed. Go on. Don't be looking at me with those funky purple eyes. I see you there. Come on. Get out. Go on. Go on. Get your butt moving. Yes. Keep going. No, 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 no. Don't even get any ideas. No, no, no. Okay. Come on. Head down those stairs. Thank you. Okay, guys. I think some point real soon I would like to build a version of this in our Let's Play. We've got an island. The island is fairly large. I would like to do a couple of things. I would love it if we could build one of these stations near where we are currently living, build a second station on the far end of the island, and then you ready for this? Build a third station on one of the other islands so that we actually can have a quick and easy way to get to that island besides hello. Oh, having to use our boat. So I think that would be incredibly cool. Luckily, like I said though, oh come on, having found the mine is going to save us a lot of time because the mines offer an unlimited supply of track. So the only thing we'll have to do is get a hold of some gold so that we can make the power tracks that we're going to need. None of the pistons, the only piston in mine is the one located in the bottom of the Pez dispenser. But it's a regular piston, so you don't even need slime balls for that. And if I hop into fly mode a little bit, you can see the difference in this roof design. You see, for one, there's no openings. Okay, so this one's airtight, and it's got a lot of glass to let natural daylight in as well. Okay, I think it's a really sweet look. I like the sandstone as well, because it just gives it a much more refined look. And I think we have a lot of ideas. And lastly, before I let you go, notice that these are elevated. You know, these are very elevated just because I was toying around with, you know, what I think these things should look like and whatnot. I'm actually using redstone torches for lighting. It's actually, there's only one piece of power track at the bottom of this incline and at the bottom of the incline down there. There's no more redstone anywhere. So, you know, one of these redstone torches is powering this. All the other redstone torches are purely aesthetic, just to kind of make it look cool. But elevating your railway just by 2 blocks will make sure that the mobs, both night and day, aren't going to screw up your plans. Okay, you really don't want to build your tracks directly on the ground because you're going to spend all this time and effort building this thing only to have a mob step in front of you on a track and, you know, stop you. Okay, so we don't want to take advantage of that possible problem. Okay, all right, I am going to take one more ride and I am going to bid you guys adieu. Until next time, bye bye.